use this fucking microphone.
The mental patient is escaping the asylum once again. He's got a plan to terrorize the population with his pen. The poison in his mind that won't allow the man to sleep with the resemblance of a skeleton. He's frail and he's weak. The man, he was a genius, could have led the nation with a charming personality and cunning with persuasion. Never had a family or a formal education. Doctors labeled him as crazy and they locked him in the basement of a top secret laboratory hidden underground. Stripped the man of his humanity, whittling him down. Afraid of his potential, so they tried to block him out. They buried him so deep so he could never make a sound. They wiped all of his records like he never existed. The more they took away his life, the more he started to miss it. The more they tried to erase him, the more he fucking resisted. They took a beautiful mind and they made it feeble and twisted. Come on, don't forget your mind is your greatest weapon. It takes a man to admit when he's not right. Even a fool can teach you the greatest lessons. You gotta look within to submit when you lost sight. Don't forget your mind is your greatest weapon. It takes a man to admit when he's not right. Even a fool can teach you the greatest lessons. You gotta look within to submit when you lost sight.
What are they doing to me? I don't even know who I am anymore. I gotta get the fuck out of here.
He began to regain his strength and all his memories too. The doctors had no idea what he was ready to do. So tired of being wired to a table and studied, so he thought of a fucking plan and acted steady and cool. He waited for night shift and he laid in the bed. They weren't afraid of him because of the restraints and the meds. He surprised the motherfucker when he popped up and said, "You're fucking dead now," and put a scalpel right in his head. Then he pulled up the wires and ran straight for the door. Outsmarting the motherfuckers, now we'll settle the score. Couldn't take the elevator, so he had to take the stairs and climbed all the way up to floor 104. Finally got to the lobby and waiting there was a team of fully loaded armed guards aiming at M16s. He wanted to give up, but in a moment of weakness, he murdered everybody using telekinesis. Fuck, don't forget your mind is your greatest weapon. It takes a man to admit when he's not right. Even a fool can teach you the greatest lessons. You gotta look within to submit when you lost sight. Don't forget your mind is your greatest weapon. It takes a man to admit when he's not right. Even a fool can teach you the greatest lessons. You gotta look within to submit when you lost sight.
I can't believe I'm finally free. What have they done to me? What have they done to me?
He never knew he had these powers hidden within. And if you think about it, this is where the story begins. He continued on with his journey. Even though he was hurting, he kept thinking he could never let the enemy win. He got away with his freedom, now he's out on the run. It had been 57 months since he could feel the sun. He was seeing the world different than he ever did before. And the air, it was so pure, but it was burning his lungs. The light, it was blinding, his eyes had to adjust. Although he couldn't see anything, moving on was a must. All his muscles were weakened from being strapped to a table, and nothing seemed to work proper, the copper covered in rust. That's when he noticed someone was walking behind him. He recognized him from the laboratory. How could he find him? He blacked out before he had a minute to think. That's when he woke up. All he knew was he was in the asylum. Goddamn. Don't forget your mind is your greatest weapon. It takes a man to admit when he's not right. Even a fool can teach you the greatest lessons. You gotta look within to submit when you lost sight. Don't forget your mind is your greatest weapon. It takes a man to admit when he's not right. Even a fool can teach you the greatest lessons. You gotta look within to submit when you lost.